Hey everyone, welcome back to the ATYL live stream on a Wednesday night. I guess happy spring break for everybody. I'm going to consider this NASCAR spring break a little bit. Right, Duke? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, we could go with spring break. That sounds good. I mean, mid-spring. That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR's off week, and I put off week in big quotes because, of course, we have the return of The Rock this weekend, which I will get to. But of course, you guys know I'm from the channel. Joining me today, of course, as I said, is Duke. So thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us. I love the roundtable stuff. It's fun.
Oh my gosh, it is so much fun. I'm trying to
But
do
it,
those like every other week.
it
So
may it may be a spring break, but it's a sellout at the Rock, right?
this is true. Yeah, the
That's what I
Xfinity
did
series
here.
sold out, which is awesome.
It's
And like
big
I will
time.
say, like for testing day at Rockingham, there were so many people there, middle of the
I did
week.
see that. I did see that.
Yeah, it was super impressive. I was stoked about it. So hopefully it is like obviously sellout crowd, but it's a good sellout crowd and a good
I think a
racing.
sellout crowd for an Xfinity race would probably be a very rowdy crowd.
Oh
For it
yeah.
seems like a sellout crowd for the Xfinity race is going to be a spring break type crowd. So maybe we're not far off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I can only imagine like imagine if a truck series race was sold out, pure chaos.
Yes, that would be chaos. That would be a lot of rowdies. Those are real fans for sure.
For sure. Well, joining us in a few minutes, by the way, will be Presley Sorah. Excited to talk to him about his ARCA news. But before we get to that, let's talk about Bristol. Uh,
Whew,
there's a lot to unpack here,
there's
and we've talked about it a lot on the channel already through the week. But at least I want to kind of get our take on a few different things before we get into what we're going to talk about, which is the Gen 7 car. That's an obvious talking point. But um, I don't know if you did you hear Kyle Larson's comments this past week on Kevin Harvick's podcast?
no. Which ones? There's a lot about the Xfinity race.
Mhm.
About wanting to embarrass them.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did. I did hear that. I like that, but so that's good. And like how he explained it. Like I know it did come across like he said very arrogant, but when he explained what he meant by that, like it makes total sense. Those guys need a measuring stick, and if they're just measuring against each other, they're never gonna see what the upper echelon has. So it's good to come beat that ass every now and then, right? Like they need that. That's
They
what the kids
do.
need. That's what the kids need, is spanking every now and then. Like that's just what they need.
Exactly. They need a measuring stick. His exact comment, at least one of the many was, quote, I want to embarrass NASCAR a little bit because they just don't let cup guys run anymore. And the
Yeah.
kids probably think they're in a good spot and they don't know where the bar really is at. So I like to go run those Xfinity races and get 10-second leads to let them realize that they've got a lot more room to improve. So it is, yeah, he wants to like kick ass and wipe the field with his talent, but it's a good measuring stick. And like drivers like Brad Perez, Ryan Ellis agreed with that. They were like, comments a little like crazy, but like they agreed. They're like, I want that.
Well, it's no different than like on an off week when some of these guys go to a local short track. Look how many
Mhm.
people show up. Look how many people want to race against them. Like it's no different. It's just they're just racing down one class on a Saturday as opposed to racing down 3, 4 classes on a Saturday night somewhere, on an off week.
Yeah,
I don't really see the difference. I guess maybe that it stinks up the show every now and then, but get better. get
exactly.
get better. Like I don't know. Like what do you want me to say? Like Junior said. Junior's like, man, I wish you would come back to run so we can even try to even the score. Like Junior recognizes that, yeah, it's a good measuring stick. Like we gotta figure out where these guys are at.
I mean, and I think about this at the short track level too, and just Bubba Pollard. I mean, short track. I'm just gonna say legend. He's still building on his stats and legacy, but
Mhm.
like, dude's gonna go down in history as one of the best. And every time he
Absolutely.
shows up to a track, you're like, oh god, I gotta race this guy.
Yeah.
Like same vibe. So.
Exactly right. Same thing. So you're gonna have to bring your A game, and that's and sometimes like yeah, maybe they drive over their heads every now and then and trying to prove something, but they get a new edge, right? So they've just upped their edge. So now they can go a little bit further next time, and it's just I don't know. I think it's good.
Dom did want me to read his take on this. He is out this week on spring break himself. He said, quote, I absolutely agree that it's beneficial for the NASCAR Cup Series drivers to run the NASCAR Xfinity Series and NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series more often and helps educate the drivers on what is needed to be a successful driver at the top level. And it is a good measuring stick of how far away they truly are from the target skill set, which is what we've said. The obvious cons to this, if we're going to be negative about this here, is that the Cup Series drivers would dominate this season, and the regulars who fight to make a name for themselves would rarely get the attention. For example, 2010, full-time Cup Series drivers won 94% of the nationwide series races in the season, 33 of the 35 races. From 2007 to 2017, 76% of those drivers were won 76% of those races were won by full-time NASCAR Cup drivers. So do we want more Xfinity drivers to win? Do we want more well-rounded drivers at the end of the day? So what is it? But obviously these drivers now have some limits as to how many they can run. So
I wish there was a way, and I know this is a pipe dream, right? But I wish there was a way to do some sort of like a budget cap for these guys when they come
yeah,
run down, right? Like you can only spend as much money as Rick Ware spends, right? And that's what or whoever in the Xfinity series, and that's all you can spend, and that's what you got. And now let's see what you are in that lower tier equipment, for lack of a better term. Not that I think that would be cool to see. Like that would be a fun watch.
I agree. I'm here for it. I mean, again, die on this hill. The Xfinity Series is the best NASCAR has to offer right now.
Oh, I
And
think so.
it's great.
Absolutely. I absolutely love the Xfinity series.
It's so good. And just even too, the personalities are good
Mhm.
too. But I guess on the con of that, or I guess on the backbone of that comment, the Cup Series product sucks right now. It's good. It is actually pretty good this season. We've gotten great races, but the short track product, I guess, is the one that's not doing great.
So it's not good, but it's the same but different. I
Mhm,
went and looked back at some early 2000s, mid 2000s, early 90s, late 90s races. They all generally had the same thing, a lot of cautions, but only like 10, 8, 14, 7 cars on the lead lap, right? So the race, and Kyle Larson kind of said that when he got out, he's like, "Oh, if it wasn't for the stages, this has been really old school Bristol, without
yeah.
the cautions, right?" But and there again, the numbers lined up kind of the same. We had what, 10 or 14, 12 cars on the lead lap right there.
Mhm.
And granted, we only had 3 cautions, but man, overall the finish, the lead changes were not there. I'll give you that. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of follow the leader at the bottom. If they could have a little bit better, somehow figure out the grip, or just to be able to get to somebody's bumper, I think it would just solve it all. And I don't know what that answer is.
I mean, the issue is, and I talked about it in the video I literally put out yesterday, kind of breaking down the comments from NASCAR, what they said they're trying to do to improve the product, which is as respectfully as possible, saying just we're not sleeping on the issue and we're working with our stakeholders. So that's their response.
Yeah, that's
But
who's something about the content today or something. I read something about that NASCAR said that they're open to listening to the fans, and I'm thinking, do we have to scream it any louder? Like what? Like what?
they're
Sal's got his
like,
hat. Like everybody
yeah.
knows what we need to do. Like come on, like just give them some more power. But I don't know what the ultimate hang up on that is. I don't truly know why they're so hesitant as to going back, and giving them a little bit more power. I have no idea.
And there's multiple different things I see with that, but the vibe it gives me is like the know-it-all kid in class that keeps raising their hand to answer the questions, and the teacher is just like anyone else is like the kid knows the answer. They're just not the teacher's not picking on them. It's the
Yeah.
same vibe. And
Yes, it does feel that way.
if you're wondering like why is NASCAR not going that direction, I'm wondering that too because they haven't given a clear answer as to why. And the teams at this point, I think, do they want to bear the burden of the cost of NASCAR's mistake on the car? No, but I think we all realize at this point, we all have to come together to figure something out. It is going to cost money to fix the car, but we know the answer, at least
Yeah, but
one
man,
part
they
of the
just
answer.
spent so much money getting this car. That's the
That's the
problem.
problem.
Like that's the problem with the teams right now, and I don't blame them. Like they just it's not just the car. They had to either refurbish or get new haulers because the heights were
Yeah.
different. Like they couldn't use the old haulers. Like all this, like there was a lot of money that was involved in this car, and it's like, ugh. What now? We're gonna have to change more? Like we got to spend more money to figure it out more? Like what?
Yeah.
You know, I hear on Denny's podcast, and that's exactly what he was saying. It's like, you know, they ask if we had a, you know, we asked if they had a car that was proven. They're like, oh yeah, we trust us. So we trust them, and it was not what they got at all.
Mm-mm. No, literally 2 months before we had our first race in the Gen 7 car in 2022, they realized they couldn't pass in this car. But then
Yes.
you have back and forth issues of like, okay, well, the front of the car is a little lifted to support aerodynamics in the back of the car, to support rear downforce. And there that way, like, you know, the leader can be pretty stable and that's it. But lap traffic or racing in the pack sucked. You tried it the
Yep.
opposite way, or you at least tried to put the front down. There was nothing to support the rear, and then all of a sudden the leader's loose and you can't control the car. And
Yeah.
so you're balancing two opposite ends here, and you're
Yep.
trying to figure out what's better. So
Very tight rope-ish.
it is. It is.
Yep.
Well, that's okay. It's fine. We'll leave it off at that. But there is something to be said about the fans are begging NASCAR to make these changes. The drivers are begging NASCAR, and it's a matter of when are we actually going to try the one solution they've held off on trying to make the product better? And we don't know.
When they throw all the money they can at every single thing else besides.
At that point, then what's better? Is it better to throw money at everything else and then go to maybe the more expensive option? Which, again, I would love more insight from Denny or somebody, like the actual cost it takes to fix what needs to be fixed, right? But also, you know, that's behind closed doors conversations.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
Me either. Man. Something to be said. I feel like when you're in this industry, like having as a journalist, you need like a secondary degree in like mechanics, engineering, something like that.
Well,
Like,
and then too though, why did they get rid of the secondary tire? Like now, granted, okay, and this I'm confused as to how they were wearing out cordon tires in 40 laps,
yeah,
and then we're able to run 150. Like, okay, the track temperature maybe it was 5, 10, 15, but golly, that's a stark difference. That is a stark difference. So where was all that coming from? And what, you know, where I thought that would have been cool if they can only get 40 laps. Oh, we're about to have some like lots of green
yeah.
flag stops. Like this is going to be, nope, didn't happen. Like, where did that go? I don't understand.
And it was crazy, like, just to hear Cliff Daniels after the race in the post-race press conference for the Cup Series being like, it was wild to see just the littlest bit of temperature difference it took to change how the tires wore.
My feeble brain cannot like
I can't process
that
it
because it doesn't make any sense. Like it shouldn't be that much of a difference, but I guess maybe it does.
I guess so. My goodness. Well, we'll move on from Bristol. I know it's a conversation at this point that's been kind of talked about over and over. But if you do want to learn kind of more about the comments that have been said about the industry at this point with the product for the short tracks, Denny Hamlin's comments, I recap it all. And get your Benzix Designs diecast too, I guess. Why not? Or displays. But I talk about it all in my latest video on the ATYL Media YouTube channel, talking about, we know the problem, what's the solution. We also have new content, a new on tour from Buddy, recapping Cordeal. Dale Earnhardt Jr. raced in that one, so we have some talking points there. And then, of course, new track limits from John, talking about the Bahrain Grand Prix, and then previewing what's coming up in a little bit. So, with that said, I feel like it's time to bring in our special guest. We had him on the show, I want to say I don't know when last year. I feel like it's been too long since we've talked to Presley, but we're having him back on again, coming off the heels of his announcement that he will return to the ARCA Menards series for his home race at IRP in the number 67 for Maples Motorsports. So without further ado, let's bring in Presley.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good.
Good. So glad that you're back. Great news about returning to IRP. I mean, this is a really big deal to be returning with health markets, Maples Motorsports. Talk about how that all came together.
Yeah. So I've been working on it for a really long time, and Indianapolis obviously is my target race each year because it's my home track. I live only about an hour away from IRP. So, it's the one at the very top of my list and the one that I put, obviously, a little bit extra work into each year. So I'm super pumped for it. It's one of my favorite tracks, or really on the ARCA schedule, IRP is my favorite track. I love IRP so much. It fits my driving style perfect. So I've just been working hard at it. We're 100 days out from the race today. I saw Actually, the track posted it today on their social media pages. So we're 100 days out from the race, and my car is pretty much completely sold out for sponsorship. So it's awesome. I've been
Nice.
working really hard at it, and to be that far ahead, this far in advance, it's really special. It's something that my deals last year were closer to last minute deals, so I couldn't say 3 months out that I was this far ahead. But I'm really happy that the work that I put in this year has paid off, and I can't wait until race day.
And what does that do for your mentality going into the race weekend? I'm
That's
sure it's a relief and you can just like
ah,
focus on preparing as a driver, right?
Yeah, and normally on race days, at least in ARCA, for me, I'm busy doing so many different things. I mean, like Pensacola and Nashville last year, I was putting decals on the car the morning of the race, and I don't really get into race mode until the race. So now I'm in race mode now. I'm ready to rock and roll. I can spend a lot more time on actual driving prep and sim work and stuff leading up to the race. So it allows me to be a lot more of a driver here going into it rather than the marketing professional.
Taylor, if you don't mind, I was going to ask that. I was going to say, Presley, I love racing against you and your brother on iRacing. By the way, you guys are awesome. But that's what I was going to say. With you having some time now to really to hone in on it, getting on the sim. How close is the sim? How much does it help you stay, obviously sharp and focused on your driving and there are different reference points and stuff within the simulator. How close they got it, and how much does it keep you on par?
Yeah, so it kind of varies track by track and car by car, but I will say the ARCA car at Indianapolis, the brand new ARCA car that they just released, it's almost dead on. It is
Oh,
so,
nice.
so, so close. And I mean, there's a few tracks where it's not close at all, not in the slightest. But thankfully, good news for me, IRP is pretty much dead on the sim. So there's a few little differences here and there, but I mean, really the way that you drive it, the throttle control and the steering inputs, it's really, really close. So thankfully that plays into my hand because obviously
Nice.
I do so much sim racing. So I'll be able to turn, thousands of laps before we ever hit the track. And I kind of know already what I want the car to feel like from last year when I ran. So as long as I can kind of find that on the sim and get into my rhythm there, it should be a pretty quick learning curve on race day.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. What's your favorite track on iRacing?
Ooh, favorite track on iRacing. My gosh, Dover's really fun.
I'm right there with you.
I do like IRP. Pocono's a blast.
Yep.
I'm biased towards Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you're going for pure chaos, Daytona, Talladega, you have to
Oh
go
yeah.
with
Yeah.
those.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those have got to be pretty chaotic for sure on
Yeah.
iRacing. And you mentioned like last year how this is a track that really fits your driving style. And unfortunately, last year you had that mechanical failure, but you were finding a rhythm during the race. So what can you take from last year running with a different team into the race this year?
Yeah, so this will be the first time that I've ever returned to a track I've already driven at in ARCA. So that's going to help me a ton. I mean, like last year, especially like with ARCA and really just NASCAR in general these days, we don't have a lot of practice at all. So I mean, I think we got like a 45-minute, maybe an hour practice session last year at IRP. And then, they just throw us in it. Here's your 2-lap qualifying run. Then here's the race. Good
Oh my
luck.
Man,
goodness.
that's
Figure it
not a
out.
lot.
No, it's not.
Hopefully you show up good, at least decent, right? Like,
I
because if
know.
you got
That's
to
what I
make a
hope.
lot of changes, it's eating in a lot of time.
It is. Yeah. And like last year, my car was really, really good. So thankfully, we didn't have to make too many changes. So I'm hoping the same for this year. And I think that we will be pretty good off the hauler. But yeah, it's it's one of those deals where if you do show up and you're not ready or the car's not where it needs to be, you're in a bind. I mean, you got to
Yeah.
figure it out really, really quickly.
Yep.
I was looking in the chat. I see that Gavin's in the chat. He's going
Oh
to be your
snap!
spotter. How
He
excited
is.
are you for that?
Yeah, I'm pumped up. So the story with me and Gavin is we met in the school drop-off line or the pickup line in like fourth or fifth grade. So I'm a year older than him. So I think I was a fifth grader. He was a fourth grader. And we were the only two NASCAR fans in the entire school. And one of us had a die cast and obviously went up to the other and was like, hey, you're a NASCAR fan. So we've been best friends ever since.
Huh.
And he spotted me at Nashville last year. He spotted me at IRP last year. So I'm excited to have him back up on the roof. He designed the car as well. So man of many trades. So yeah, we're a really good duo because we can kind of bounce feedback off of each other, and then we help each other out in our own ways.
We were talking about last time you were on the show, like how important it is to like have your community in motorsports and how you have this like really strong friend group from back home, like where you guys have all kind of gone through the racing ranks together. And just it's special to see that you're able to return to your home track and be able to do this. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great for both of us. I mean, especially with as many friends and family as there will be there. Like my day job is actually as an elementary teacher. So like last year, a bunch of my students were at the race and stuff. So it's really, really
That's so
neat to
cool.
bring everybody in there.
Have you been
really
able to
cool.
like incorporate some like aspects of racing like into your lessons at school? Like sometimes?
Kind of. So one thing that I do that I can't believe that no other drivers have done, at least to my knowledge, I feel like I'm one of the first that's done it, but I'm sure people are going to start catching on and they'll do it as well. But for each event that I run, I do coloring sheets of my race car, and Gavin helps make those as well. So I take those into the students, and then I actually take them to the racetrack as well. So most of the ARCA races have the pre-race autograph session and everything, and I got to thinking last year before my first start, I was like, man, there's not really anything for kids here. I mean, like we have the autographed hero cards and all that, but that's, I don't know that a, 4 or 5-year-old's really going to care too much about that. It's more of an adult thing. So I was thinking, there's not too much that benefits them with these autograph sessions, aside from like taking pictures. So, I went to work and tried to figure out something I could do. And I thought, my gosh, coloring sheets. I mean, we burned through them at school so much. So I got that idea, shot it towards Gavin, and obviously he loved it and, put the pen to the paper. So we've had coloring sheets of each race car I've driven so far, and then we'll have them again at Indianapolis this year.
That's awesome.
That's a fantastic idea. That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so interactive. And you talk about like special guests at the racetrack, friends and family. Was it last year at IRP you had a football player that you brought out?
I did, yes. DeJuan Jones. Yeah, he plays for the Cleveland Browns. Actually, like not even 10 feet from me right now is a jersey of his from last year he sent me. He's a great dude. He's from Indianapolis. He's about a year or two older than I am, but he's 6'8", so just a little bit taller than I am.
A little bit.
Slightly.
Just
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit taller than the 5'7", but yeah, great dude. Loves racing. Huge racing fan. Watches IndyCar, NASCAR, all that stuff. Loves. I want to say his favorite drivers are Joey Logano in NASCAR, and then Graham Rahal in IndyCar. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
But yeah. But I'll take the reins as the ARCA driver in that bracket.
100%.
That's kind of a. I mean, then that's a flex, I guess.
That's a flex. It really is.
That's definitely a flex.
So going into this race, I guess, what are you looking forward to most? Is it truly being back at the track? Is it showing up to the home crowd? What's the one thing that you're super excited about with returning?
Really just, man, a little bit of everything. I mean, I'm excited for the race itself because I think I can do really, really well. Like if you put me up head to head against anyone at IRP, I think my best chances are at Indianapolis over any other track. But yeah, I think our performance will be good. I love doing the fan interactive stuff. So, whether it be like a car display or an autograph session before the race or different little marketing opportunities, I think that stuff is so much fun, and connecting with the fans is a blast. So we've got a lot of stuff planned, a lot of really cool interactive things. We're going to pull in some sim racing as well. So a lot of stuff will be announced in the couple weeks or months leading up to it. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun experience.
So that's one thing that I do know that the ARCA drivers have an advantage with, because with the Cup drivers, they have a lot more responsibilities to go to, right? A lot and more coveted events, and you guys can get down more to the grassroots fan and create fans, right? Like your kids coming out with the coloring sheets. You're gonna have the sim rig out there and stuff, and you guys have a really good opportunity to be that first ambassador into the sport for maybe a kid that you don't even realize. And I think it's awesome that you're taking that opportunity and taking those steps to take it that far. That's awesome. I think that's terrific.
Yeah, I feel like ARCA is like the perfect middle ground because we go to tracks like Five Flags or Flat Rock, or Elko, where late models are running, and that's their typical crowd. And then we also go to like Daytona and Talladega. Like what series has that kind of variety in it, where you're going to the really big super speedways? I mean, we go to Watkins Glen, West Series goes to Sonoma and Portland and all. So there's such a big variety. And then we go to dirt tracks too. Like, we pretty much hit everything that you can. And whereas, you see like the top 3 series, they're more status quo, and a lot of the other big series are as well. So the variety in ARCA, honestly, in my opinion, is kind of what makes it special, because you have fans from both too. I mean, you'll have fans that are used to the big super speedways, and they go down to a little short track, and it's like, whoa, this is way different. So yeah, I love that about the series.
I've got to ask, last question for me at least. The NASCAR 25 game, ARCA is going to be in it. When you heard about that, what was your reaction?
Oh, I was pumped. I mean, that, my entire childhood, I was playing NASCAR video games. I mean, NASCAR Inside Line, NASCAR 2010, all of those video games coming up.
Yeah.
So, which obviously, sorry to make anyone feel old.
Oh man, it's like, oh,
I
come
know
on.
NASCAR 2010 is not that far away, but yeah.
Man.
So I played all those on
Ay,
PlayStation
ay.
and Wii and all that. So to hear that they're bringing ARCA to the game as well, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, because it's such great recognition for us and our sponsors. So and really, that was the first thing that I thought about, is like, wow, what an awesome marketing opportunity this is for all of the partners in the series. So whether it's the big teams, small teams, whatever. So I think that'll be really cool. And it'll be really neat too for the younger fans to be able to play the game as us drivers, and get to know us more. That way, when they see an ARCA race on TV, they can point, oh, I drove as him or her on the video game. So that'll be really cool. I don't know for sure yet if I'll be in it or not. I'm like 50-50. We've been in contact with them, but we don't really have a dead set yes or no. So hopefully I'll have something to announce on that pretty soon. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm with Cody there in the chat. NASCAR 98 with Somali Hatchet jamming. Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, Presley,
I have one question. I think I
Yeah.
know half the answer. It's a question I like to ask drivers. You have one lap in one car, in any car that you've driven in your career, at any lap and any track you've driven in your career, with the best setup you ever had, last lap you're ever going to drive. What car and what track?
So does it have to be something I've already driven, or something?
No,
Could it be anything?
No. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an easy answer. IndyCar, Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh,
Bars.
there you go.
Yep.
Bars.
There you go.
Yep.
Nice.
Honestly, that's the dream. It's the dream.
It is.
That would be pretty sick.
Well, Presley, we'll keep our fingers crossed on news for the NASCAR 25 game, and we wish you all the best at IRP for your return.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Health Markets, Go Gut Microbiotic. We've got M&M Electrical, which is a local to Cambridge City sponsor for me, Matrix Apparel, who'll be making the crew shirts for the event. And like I mentioned earlier, Runnings Racing Design, sponsoring the car, or designing the car, and also spotting for me at the event. So tons of great partners. And we got more than that. They're over on my website. So tons of great partners that help me get there. And obviously, as you guys know, there's no way I'd be able to drive anything without partners. Same with any other driver out there. So the partners and the fans are what make the world go around for us drivers. So I appreciate all those people for helping me out.
Awesome. Yeah. And everyone, make sure to follow him on social media as well. Give him support, and also just follow along on the journey. So, Presley, thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. That was Presley Sorah. Again, always good to talk with him and catch up with him.
Fantastic interview.
Yeah, he's so fun to talk to. And again, just like his story is so cool, the sim to reality aspect of it, and just seeing how his friend group has just evolved and really done so well in the industry. Like, Gavin does excellent work. Obviously, Presley is super talented, and it's cool to see good things happen to good people. So
yes it is.
Love it. All right, before we move on into some NASCAR news, we have a giveaway I want to talk to you guys about for a second. I don't know if you guys saw this, but we have a giveaway with Happy Hour Racing and Benzik Designs. If you go to this link that is on your screen right now, if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to our giveaway page. When you spend $25 at Happy Hour Racing at the link on your screen, QR code, you'll get one entry to win 3 3D printed displays of your choice from Benzik Designs. If you spend $50 or more, you'll get entered 3 times to win those displays. The giveaway lasts until April 30th, and we will pick our winner then. And this could be a value of $75, depending on what displays you pick if you are the winner, or $120. So definitely worth entering. Show our sponsors, our supporters some love. Happy Hour Racing and Benzik Designs. But yeah, giveaway starts now. So make sure you scan that QR code on the screen, or just go to abovetheyellowline.com/giveaway to see more details on how to enter.
Scan, scan, scan. Can't win it if you ain't in it.
This is true. This is very true. And then, of course, we know Happy Hour Racing, fantastic partner of ours, obviously involved in that giveaway. But if you scan the QR code on the screen there and also use the promo code ATYL 2025, you get $5 off your first order and a free 1-month subscription box of your choice from them. So again, happyhourracing.com, or scan the QR code on your screen there. Lots of QR code scans, but honestly, QR codes, they help. They're awesome. Better than just putting a link on the screen, right, you guys?
I got to step away just real quick.
You're good. You're good. Awesome. So let's end up talking about some NASCAR news. Obviously, we have Rockingham coming up this weekend. I will be at Rockingham covering the Xfinity Series and Truck Series action. So make sure to follow along with me, and also Racing America. I will be doing a social media takeover this weekend. So it's an off weekend, and I say this with heavy quotes because, yes, we do have Rockingham this weekend. But let's talk about some NASCAR news just for a second. And if you guys have topics you want to discuss right here on the show, just use the hashtag AskATYL, and we will discuss them right here. Whether it's NASCAR related, IndyCar, Formula One, whatever that is, just leave them in the comments. Thank you for scanning the QR code, by the way. I appreciate it. So news that came out today is NASCAR Full Speed Season 2 is going to air, our debut, I guess, on Netflix on May 7th. If you haven't seen Season 1, it is fantastic. I loved how it portrayed our sport. This is actually a question I got asked really recently about if I liked it, if I didn't. And I thought it was really good, quite honestly. I didn't think it over dramatized the sport at all. It was a really accurate portrayal of the pressures that these drivers do go through for the playoffs. And last year, because of how intense the playoffs were and how, I guess, controversial some of those moments were, I'm really interested to see how NASCAR in Netflix portrays those moments. So May 7th, we get Season 2 of Full Speed exclusively on Netflix. If you haven't seen the teaser trailer yet, go look it up on Netflix after the stream. But that will be one to look at for sure. Another piece of news that we have before we bring Duke back in, or is Duke ready? He's ready to go. Okay, we'll bring him back in to talk about this piece of news. Jesse Love. Have you seen the news about Jesse Love today?
2 races?
Yes, 2 races.
In the 62?
Yes.
I read that, and to back up a few weeks, I was really shocked to hear that wasn't Austin Hill supposed to race some and then backed out of some cup races or something? And this was the fallout of that? I thought I'd heard this like 3 or 4 weeks ago, that he had declined to run, like he was supposed to run with United Reynolds, right? And then with like 5 races, and then something happened where he backed out. So I don't know, but it seems like I heard 3 or 4 weeks ago that this was a fallout from an Austin Hill situation, that he declined to run some races.
Interesting. From what I know, he is
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, from what I know, he's still planning on running those 5 events. There are some that he wanted to run, so changed the planning stages of having those 5 races that were on his schedule for the 2025 NASCAR season. He had some tracks he wanted to run initially, and then just with the partnership and stuff like that, he switched
maybe
around.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
So Austin Hill is still planning on running those 5 events, but for Jesse Love, making 2 cup starts in the number 62 for Beard Motorsports is huge.
That's what is this? This is the second year in Xfinity, and now he's making 2 cup starts. That's big.
It's big.
I do. Yeah. That's a team that comes loaded for bear. They don't really mess around. They got like a couple of stops that they make each year, and they come loaded for bear. But I do like how Jesse's been more active on social media. I've seen him on his TikTok a lot. Like, that's smart, man. These guys are starting to really figure it out and understand it. But that's a big step. Second year and already making cup starts. That says a lot. But he's been running like a scalded dog. So there you go.
You bring up such a good point with his social media. Now, I don't know why I'm forgetting her name, but I know who runs his social media or helps market or manage Jesse Love, and she does a incredible job. She
She's doing a
manages some
great
drivers
job.
as well in IndyCar. But yeah, just I think what I love about his social media presence, because I think sometimes, and I don't know if you've seen this Duke with some drivers, but you have a social media manager take over a driver's social media page and the personality just dies, becomes too
Yep.
corporate, too buttoned up. What I like about what she does is she just amplifies Jesse's personality, or at least the personality that he wants to portray to fans,
Yes.
but amps it up and really makes trends match, what's going on in his life. Like, she does an incredible job. So shout out to her. Again, I hate that I can't think of
She
her
does
name.
do a good job. I will give her credit because I've noticed it. I noticed it the other day. I was like, man, this guy's really doing a great job. Like this is awesome. Like I could
Yeah.
really tell that they put some work into it.
Absolutely. And for Jesse Love too, great to make those 2 starts at Texas and Indy later in the season. And for Beard Motorsports, like you said, when they have those races that they go to, they come prepared. And typically they are coming prepared to our super speedway type of track. So to have them show up at Texas and Indy.
That's what I was going to comment. Those are more technical tracks than a Talladega or a Daytona that you would see them at. So that's that's another testament to, I guess, how how they feel about how he can perform in the car and at the track. I mean, that's pretty good. Those are good. Those are big starts. Indy's big start. That is a big start.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I think like we talked about this with making his debut. Was it, I'm gonna be so wrong with this, but was it somebody made their Cup debut this weekend, and was it Jesse Love? Was it him? I'm gonna feel so bad if I got this wrong, because I was literally thinking about this. I'm like,
Yes.
this is adding to his schedule.
Oh, that was him. Yeah.
It was him.
No, it was him. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. I had a moment there. But yeah, Jesse Love made his Cup debut this weekend in the 33 for RCR, and he finished 31st at Bristol. And everyone was like, oh, like poor debut for Jesse Love. And I'm like, no, like he learned a lot, came home with a clean car. Like it was, your debut should be to learn. Your debut should be to complete all the laps you can, not DNF. And that's exactly what he did. And he said after the race, he felt comfortable in the car. And that's huge right off the bat, because Xfinity and Cup cars, as you know, completely different. Completely different. So yeah, it really is just now him kind of growing that Cup Series resume, competing against those regulars instead of having 1 or 2 drivers during the weekend competing at Xfinity. It's, hey, now you're joining the pool of Cup Series drivers and you got to show up.
There you go. I mean, that's just another way to, well, my measuring stick is grown here. Let me take it over here now. Right. And that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. It's a big step.
It is a big step. Now, but excited for him and excited to see what he can make of those 2 starts. But let's close out the show by talking about Rockingham. John asked in the chat, how are y'all feeling about Casey Kane returning for Rockingham in the Xfinity Series? I'm excited to see how he does. Duke, what are your thoughts about him returning?
I was just talking about this yesterday. I can't remember who I was talking this about on the phone, but I wish that Casey Kane, I wish that his body didn't really fail him, and that he could have had a full career.
I wish,
because it's like, that's one of those is, man, what if? Because he had, in my opinion, he had Kyle Larson talent. Like that he could drive. Like he could drive. So I'm excited to see him back in the car. Hopefully, hopefully the weather's nice and he doesn't overheat or whatever it may be, and he can put on a show. But I think he's going to do really good. I would be shocked if he didn't, because he's ran there in a car that handles generally similar, if you will. So I look for him to probably do pretty good. I would be shocked if he didn't.
Yeah, it's been fun to see Casey Kane race the past few years, like in like sprint cars, high limit, as of course is what he's doing now. And just to see him back in NASCAR, you could tell how much meant to the fans. I mean, Casey Kane Friday has been fully resurrected.
Oh yeah.
Every Friday now you see, I mean, Noah Gragson even posts a photo in the hat, Casey Kane Friday.
Oh yeah.
And it's really cool to see him back in the sport. And he's been preparing for this one for the past few months. I mean, yep. I will say Racing America is going to have some exclusive content with him in the next few days. So stay tuned for that. And it'll kind of go into his preparation for the race and everything like that. So it should be a really good show. I see a top 15 not being out of the question for Casey.
I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I think that would probably be, honestly, I think that team probably is going in there, and that would probably be like the ground level. I would imagine they would
Yeah.
probably feel like that's their ground. Ceiling, I don't know. They may, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he's ran the track before. He knows
It's
it.
true.
So we'll see. He's gonna have good equipment.
I mean, he's here to win. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't return after all this time to just not. I mean, and I know
No.
some drivers are like, I want to reach a certain milestone of a certain start in my career. I'm like, I get that. But Casey's competitive. He wants to win.
Yep.
And I think in RCR equipment, he has the opportunity to do that. So
Yep.
definitely looking forward to that and previewing other people to watch. It's the driver that might not be on your radar. I'm going to throw out Jeb Burton this weekend. It's a track that his dad was so good at back in the day. And it's a track that he's done really well at too in different series. And well, whether that'll translate over to Xfinity, I don't know. But he could be a surprise this weekend based off of how what I talked to him about at testing earlier this year and like what I saw from him. But all of the drivers, this consensus was truck and Xfinity across the board. They were shocked at how fast they were able to run at that track.
Yes, I did hear that. And they're like speed. And I think this is going to be a really good show for I think both series are going to put on a tremendous show. And I think we're in for a good one this weekend. I really do.
And again, Xfinity completely sold out. I mean, the crowd is super excited, and I'm shocked too. I mean, Easter weekend.
So yeah, that's the thing, right? So Easter weekend, they left that track because they couldn't sell any tickets, and it was in a bad area, right? There's no really amenities around it. The infrastructure is not worth it. It can't, But obviously they were thirsty to at least see this one. So that's good. Maybe it leads to something else. I think that would be awesome. That place needs to be on a schedule. It doesn't need to go to waste.
It does. It is such a fantastic track, and I'm actually going to be watching some old Cup Series races and things from Rockingham probably tomorrow. I like to spend the day. Well, I spend all week prepping for the races when I go to cover them, but I tend to do my watch-alongs or watch-backs, I should say, the day before, just to kind of have some things fresh in my memory. And so I'm excited to kind of go back, watch some old races from Rockingham, and kind of get a sense of, what the track was like leading up to our, I guess, eventual departure of that track. But I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited. It should be good. And then, like I said, sold out on Easter weekend. You saw, this was Richmond last year. The crowd was so sad. It was Richmond, to be fair, during Easter weekend. But I'm just so excited to see this crowd. And of course, these drivers are pumped. And a lot of these teams and team owners have history with this track too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that too, and you got the new people, because that would be cool to be able to work a race at that racetrack. There's a whole group of people in the sport that saw that growing up, was never able to get there, and worked in the sport and got out and still never was able to get there. Now they're going back, and it's like, man, there's a lot of history that missed out on that. That's like, it's really cool to see people get to bridge the gap and get back to a place like that.
Right. You're bridging experiences, history within motorsports, which is something I love. And by the way, good point from Ravaging Wolverine. It is it's a much earlier start time than we're used to for the truck series on Friday, 5 p.m. So
5 p.m. Eastern?
5 p.m. Eastern. Yep. So it's gonna be an early morning at the track. I can tell you. I was talking to Toby Christie from TobyChristie.com and Racing America. We're both going to be working that race together this weekend. And I was like, so what time are we going to leave for the track? And he was like, well, track activity starts at 10. Media center opens at 8. So we're going to be leaving at like 6.
Man, 5 p.m. start though. They're ending right at prime time. They're man, this could be some good numbers for this weekend. I mean, they're ending right at the time where they need to. It'll be about 7:30. Maybe the cable numbers look good this weekend. I think it's going to be great.
I'm so excited. Well, make sure you guys tune in to watch NASCAR's return to Rockingham. It should be a good one. And then, of course, next week, we're going to talk all about it. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different preview next week, as well as the ATYL crew, or at least some of us are going to be taking on NHRA for the very first time for the 4x Nationals at Charlotte, I guess next weekend. I can't believe it's already here.
Yeah, you guys, I'm jealous. You guys are going to get to go to that. Those are fun. Those national events, there's nothing like it. Absolutely nothing like an NHRA national event. It is electric. You're gonna have so much fun.
Excited because I know a lot of folks in the chat either have never experienced an NHRA race before, maybe haven't watched NHRA before, this is my first year really diving into the series, so I'm really excited to see what it has to offer. Duke's going to be covering some NHRA
Yep.
on his show as well, and
Yep,
just
yep.
diving into that. So
yeah, I grew up drag racing. My dad drag raced all growing up all across the country, and God, I don't know, I've probably been to 100 something national events in my life, so
dang.
well seasoned.
Well,
Looking forward to talking about it.
so if you're looking for your NHRA knowledge, check out Duke's show Thursday nights.
There we
at 10
go.
p.m., guys.
Thursday nights at 10.
Make sure to watch it. But thank you all so much for tuning in, of course, for more from us here at ATYL Media. Make sure to go to AboveTheYellowLine.com and get your hats. We have these really cute new bucket hats. Duke, I don't know if you're a bucket hat type of guy. I know you're a sailor hat type of guy here, but we got our bucket hats on the ATYL store, and they're very cute and fun, especially for the summer. So make sure to get yours.
I need to go snag me one of those for when I do just do general content with, like, instead of having my other hat. I need to do something like that. I'm digging it.
The bucket hats they're a winner. I wore mine at Darlington. I felt a little silly on the grid, but like quite honestly, it was a total win because of how hot it was. But new style, new hat. Make sure to grab it at AboveTheYellowLine.com. And of course, that giveaway with Benzik Designs and Happy Hour Racing is also at AboveTheYellowLine.com. We will be redoing our website, so stay tuned for that. We're going to have a new look in the next few months with a lot more content, so stay tuned for that. But of course, we couldn't do what we do without our incredible partners on brand: Benzik Designs, Happy Hour Racing, The Bright Mentality, and of course, Goat Locker Racing. Their show, Goat Talk Live, Thursday nights.
Go Locker, yeah.
8 p.m.
Well, it's backwards, but it's okay.
We got it. Yeah, watch Duke race in their series.
Yes. Sunday nights and Friday nights. We race in that series, and we're in the playoffs in the Sunday night series. I can't get out of my own way in the Friday night series, but we're showing up and keep digging. But Sunday nights we're in the playoffs, so we're geared up for that.
Where are you guys headed to next?
Richmond, next, and then Iowa, and then California, and then Texas.
Whew.
And I feel really good about the last three. Richmond is
Well, fingers crossed for Richmond. You'll kill it for the rest of the three.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Well, yeah, make sure to check out all of our partners linked in the description below. And again, we have new content that's out. So if you haven't seen it, check out the new on-tour video about Cordeal, the car store race that Dale Jr. ran. Make sure to check out all of our Formula One content from John. And then, of course, my new video out about Bristol, kind of a post-Bristol video, I should say, about the problem and the solutions that have come out during this week. But make sure to check out all of our content, all of our socials. All can be found on our YouTube channel or at AboveTheYellowLine.com. But that was the Midwestern goodbye, a goodbye that never ends. But now it's going to end here. Yes. Thank you all so much for tuning in from myself and Big Duke. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.